for today we're going to talk about our chosen topic, which is the privacy issues that happen in digital era. So the first thing is we have to know what is privacy. Privacy is the ability of an individual or group of individuals to protect the private life and private environment, including the information about themselves. But we have to know that the more our lives become digital, the more our personal data travels, because we share everything through browsing, purchasing, social activities, and all the services we subscribe. The internet is the quickest way to connect with the rest of the world, but it is not the safest. When the users choose to be online, they put their security at risk because the internet is full of scams and gambles. Most internet users are unconcerned about their online privacy and are unaware of the potential risks, especially when they use the internet to perform important and secretive tasks like online banking and sharing critical business files. So there are a few privacy issues in digital era that we're going to talk further, which is the first one is spying and snooping, and then information mishandling, and location tracking, and also cookies.
Okay, now I will explain more about spying and snooping. So what is spying? Spying can be defined as the act of obtaining secret or confidential information from non-disclosed sources or divulging of the same without the permission. Okay, while snooping is unauthorized access to another person's data. The practice is similar to eavesdropping, but it is not necessarily limited to getting access to data during its transmission. Both spying and snooping are simply to getting on someone's private information without their knowledge. Also, trackers can keep a record of our search history and track all our online activities through various means. Let's move on to the types of electronic snooping tools used by hackers. Okay, first is keylogger, which is one of the electronic snooping, and it is function to monitor and capture keystrokes, including the password and other information like private communications and other data transmissions. Keyloggers usually installed on endpoint devices such as laptops and PCs without the owner knowing. The second one is telephone tapping. Telephone tapping or wire tapping function to monitor of telephone and internet-based conversation by a third party. So if hackers want to tap our cell phone, they can do so by installing spyware on iPhone or Android. Then the hackers will listen to our calls of any type of phone. Okay, here's some illegal spying devices and how can we prevent from it. Okay, the first one is smartphone spying applications. So, as we know, smartphones are one of the biggest personal conveniences, and many people use it for taking photos, send the text messages, and access the email. But we need to always keep our phone under control, use a strong password to lock the device, and do not use the easier lock option such as basic PIN or a pattern. Next is GPS tracking devices. There are some of the prime spots that we can check, like inside the bumper, under the grill, and the gap between the hood and the window. Because a GPS tracker can be so tiny, but we can also jam a GPS signal with a GPS jamming gadget. The last one is the cameras and microphone spying. A spy can also conceal a hidden camera and microphone in many places because of its size. But we can also look for a small holes in the walls that might indicate of the use of pinhole camera. Another option, we can also turn all of the lights at night and scan our surroundings for a telltale LED light. Here's some steps how to protect ourselves from online snooping. Okay, the first one is using a private mode on browser. Okay, which is most of browsers offer these features, which is disable cookies from tracking our activities from one website to another website. Okay, for example, if we are using Google Chrome, simply open the browser, click more at the top right, select New Incognito window, and a new window will appear with a gray incognito icon, which is we are now in a browsing privately mode. We can also use a search engine that doesn't track our activity. Search engines log what we browse for online. As a result, create a history of our activity. But luckily, search engines such as DuckDuckGo or PrivateMe shield our activity from this kind of spying, protecting our browsing history from falling into the wrong hand. Okay, we can also protect ourselves by using a VPN. Okay, by connecting to a global server, a VPN hides our true address and also shields us from being spied by the hackers, advertisers, and also the governments. Okay, that is means that not only will third parties be unable to view our data, but strong VPN also not be able to snoop our information.
My name is Madam Khalisah Binti Mokhtar and my metric number is 1220813. Now, I want to explain about information mishandling or data misuse. The definition of data misuse is using any information in a way it should not be used. Data misuse can be related with data theft. However, in the case of data misuse, information is not always to third parties, but in some cases, data misuse can lead to a data breach. This mishandling of personal information can lead to disadvantage. By the way, the modern of trend e-banking and e-business portal has multiplied the risk associated with online privacy. Next point is cause of data misuse. First, lacks good data handling practice. For example, when someone copy the data to their personal device without good data handling, it can make the data can be accessed to everyone. Second, collection error, and lastly, improper filling system are also the cause of data misuse. 2.3 is an example of data misuse in the modern world. First, Facebook and Cambridge Analytica. In 2018, United Kingdom consulting firm used personal data from Facebook users. Cambridge Analytica misused the data of 87 million Facebook users, and within 2 months of the incident, Cambridge Analytica was bankrupt, while Facebook has been fined with a $5 billion. Second, Twitter. In September 2019, Twitter admitted to letting advertisers access its user personal data to improve their targeting of marketing. And the last one is Google. Google was fined nearly at $57 million in 2020 by the French Data Protection Authority for failing to acknowledge how its user personal data. Lastly is how to prevent data misuse. The first step is establish need to know access. Activity logs enable you to track and contextualize every action in your network. Second, educate your team, like making a cybersecurity training course and knowledge sharing session from the security team. And last, build clear process around data access. User can explore features like account takeover protection, multi-factor authentication, and integrate sign-on for apps and social media to keep customer data secure.
Next, we will move to the other issues, which is location tracking. First and foremost, location tracking can be defined as the ability to determine geographical positions. There are many possible issues related to the location tracking that might occur when we use any kind of technologies. There is a lot of technologies that can be used in order to detect the location data of the users and allowing a third party to easily track the location of the cell phone users without the user's knowledge. So here are some methods of how location data can be collected. The first one is GPS tracking, which is GPS referred to the global positioning system. It consists of a network of satellites that transmit signals to the Earth's surface. When GPS is combined with other technologies such as internet, social media, or mobile phone apps, commercial organizations can easily track someone's movement, collect data on their travel and shopping habits, and target them with advertising based on their locations. Next is Wi-Fi tracking. Wi-Fi location tracking is a geolocation system that uses the entire Wi-Fi infrastructure, such as phones, tablets, laptops, and routers, as Wi-Fi access points to determine a device location. Business and other third parties can track you via a Wi-Fi network if you let them. In addition, the main concentrate with location privacy is that disclosure. When a consumer agrees to use a service that accepts location data, the consumer is unlikely to know how his or her location data may be used in ways other than enabling the service. Location data, for example, may be shared with third parties unknown to their consumers. Consumers may be unable to judge whether they are disclosing their data to trustworthy levels of security protections because they do not know who these entities are or how they use consumers' data. Next, identity theft. When location data is disclosed, criminals can use it to steal identities, especially when combined with other personal information. When entities begin to collect data profiles, the risk of identity theft increases, especially if the information is not kept securely. Criminals obtain information such as consumers' name, address, interests, and the names of friends and coworkers by gaining unauthorized access to these profiles. The last one is personal security. Location data can be used to create a detailed record of a person's movements and activities. Criminals may use location data if it is disclosed or posed to identify an individual's current or likely future location, especially if the data includes other personality identifiable information. This information could then be used to cause harm to the individual or his property, such as stalking or theft. So the point is, we are all living in digital era, so we are all being exposed to the privacy issues. Thus, we must be aware of any actions that are related to the technology to make sure our data will not be used or sold to the third party or unauthorized party for their purpose.
My name is Siti Binti Abdul Halim, and I will talk about cookies. So, when you have been browsing the internet and you have seen a notification like this pop up on your screen telling you this website uses cookies, most of the time you just slap that agree button, right? But you don't know what exactly are cookies and how do they work. We are talking about website cookies, which are more formally called HTTP cookies. So, a cookie is a small piece of data from a specific website that is stored on a user's computer while they are browsing the web, and they can have many functions, such as keeping track of a user browsing activity in order to serve up targeted information, such as advertisement for goods or service. Cookies can also have a simple function like remembering your login detail for a specific website such as Facebook, so that you can close out of it and then reopen it again later without having to log back in again. Cookies can also website owner to track exactly how many unique visitors they are getting to the website, because each cookie has its own unique ID. So if the user visits the same website 2 or 3 times in a day, a cookie can allow us to count this as one unique viewer. Cookies today are still used to identify your computer, but now they have the added function of also tracking your activity, which can be very helpful or breach your privacy depending how website decide to use this information, which is why you get the notification whenever you visit a website that uses cookies, because they are legally obligated to inform you in their cookie policy of what they use cookies for. Cookies can even note the time you visited a website or the link you click on during a session, or even record how long you spent on each page. There are a few types of cookies. First, session cookies or transient cookies, or in-memory cookies. Second, HTTP only cookies. Third, persistent cookies. Fourth, secure cookies. Fifth, third-party cookies. And sixth, super cookies. Cookies may have security issues. For example, some websites employ cookies to provide access control method. A website that requires a user to log in may place cookies in the browser with the login credential or even the session data. This may cause problem if the machine is shared by several users. This sort of technology may be prone to misuse by third parties if not built appropriately. It is true that a packet sniffer application may intercept cookies as they are sent from the browser to the server and get access to the website that provided the cookies. Some OLTP online transaction processing system that employ cookies should be very careful in ensuring privacy and security to the system user, as the preceding situation is possible and the user will never allow a security breach. How can we protect ourselves? First, use your web browser privacy mode. Each browser has its own set of security and privacy options. This option enables customers to balance usability and security components based on their personal risk profile. Consumers can utilize private or incognito browsing mode in modern browser. Every time a customer visits a website, it is considered as a fresh visit, similar to manually erasing cookies. Second, clear your browser cookies. The most basic kind of protection is to refuse to accept cookies in the first place and to remove cookies that have already been placed in a browser cache. Third, use a virtual private network. If you use an insecure public Wi-Fi connection, criminals can hijack your cookies. Use a virtual private network (VPN) to safeguard your data and privacy online and prevent a thief from stealing it. A VPN establishes an encrypted tunnel that hides your IP address when you connect to public Wi-Fi hotspot.
In summary, we should be wise and careful users when sharing our personal information. Plus, actions to share personal information online need to be taken seriously and not arbitrarily shared with the wrong party. This is because we want to prevent the user's personal data from being stolen by irresponsible parties for the purpose of personal profit. So I think that's all from our group. Thank you.